I have 40 years working with Toyota. I started on one of their racing programs, so it is so rewarding to be the first team that gets to bring an all-electric Toyota race car to SEMA. When you see the inside of the car, you're going to see that we are removing everything that's not necessary out of it. We want to make it as light as possible. We're going to have a steering wheel and we're going to have an instrument cluster. And pretty much everything else is going to be gone except for safety. So the rendering we've got now is really close to what I think the final product's going to be. It's flashy without being over the top.
It's going to be kind of the Swiss Army knife of a BEV, I think, for us from a race car perspective. So we just want to go out and kind of see where it performs best and what we can have fun with doing with it.
So today we got pretty much 95% of the cage done. As you can see, all the tubes are pretty much in.
We designed the cage to be legal in FIA, in hill climb, as well as time attack.
So the cars originally came with a glass roof. We were looking through OEM parts through Toyota, and we did find that they did come with a steel roof. So we were able to get that, which is relatively light for how big a piece of metal it is, and it fits perfect.
The future of electric has potential to be incredibly powerful. And so ultimately what we'd like to do with this vehicle without having to change too much of it is to be able to go from what a year ago was 200 horsepower to maybe 500 plus. 500 plus horsepower will allow us to be competitive in the different venues that we're looking at running this car. This car isn't for show. This car is to go out on the track and have somebody, a professional driver, just beat the heck out of it. Let's see what we can do to it. There's so many unknowns with this build for us because this is the first time we've done large scale 3D printing that is actually going to be on the outside of the car, as opposed to in projects in the past we used it to bring two things together.
Now it's starting to look like a fender. That looks pretty good. We'll throw some bolts in them and see what happens.
This is actually going to be the most visible part of the vehicle because we're going a lot wider. We're going 6 inches wider overall on the whole car. One of the craziest things about this time attack is when you look at these vehicles, they're geared up for one lap on their own on a track, which means you don't get the disruption of the air from the car in front of you. So you can go with a massive wing on this as long as you have enough horsepower to push it. So it's all about getting downforce. We got a 2-element wing. We made the swan necks to mount it onto the back of the deck lid. We're also doing an air splitter. The bottom of this car is super flat. So we're able to use that to our advantage. So if we hit it right, we're gonna have a car that just sticks to the ground. This will give you a pretty good indication of where we're gonna end up. 19 by 11 inch wheel. This is the tire that's gonna go onto it. It was a 7-inch rim. So you'll see how much more meat we're gonna be able to get to the ground. So the biggest difference between what we're used to doing, which is internal combustion, and electric is the torque curve on electric cars is so different. The only way we're gonna find out is by spending a lot of hours at the racetrack.
With 3D printing the front fenders, we're going to kind of integrate those into the front lip spoiler, as well as the rocker panels. We'll also kind of fit the front fender and the rear fender. So we left everything a little big, so that way when we do get all the fenders and all the parts installed on the car, we can put those on and know where our finishing pieces go, and we can kind of finish everything out.
This is as close to perfect as I can imagine. The front where it wraps around is darn close. So in general, this thing is amazingly close. In a perfect world, we'll have everything we need and we'll be coasting over the finish line. It rarely happens that way. I don't know how many late nights there's gonna be, but success is really our only option.